Next one I have is if I have land and my citizens need me to pay taxes to live there, how will the citizens earn money on my land?
Right. So citizens don't necessarily earn money on your land. You earn as a hometown owner. You earn in two ways. You earn by taking a tax on the earnings that your citizens have in the entire NEXUS world. It's not just the activity on your land. So that's one. Second is not necessarily related to your citizens, actually, is people who will come and visit your land if they come and use your facilities, or if they come, for instance, and bring their buddies to forage on your land, to find food. All of that will result in activity that will go towards your earnings. So that is the second way to earn, not from your citizens, from everybody visiting your land, but earning from your citizens is on their play to earn earnings across the NEXUS world.
Am I hearing correct? There's two ways, right? So one is people who are actually geolocated at your land right now, doing anything there, using the facilities, you get to earn from that, right? And then the other one is they are a citizen, but they are doing things elsewhere, so you also get to earn taxes.
Right.
Is it something like, let me see, we're in Singapore right now. Let's say I'm a Singapore citizen, I pay income tax to the government.
Right.
So in this case, your mayor, you pay, the citizens give you taxes.
Right.
So for the other one, it will be like tourists coming to Singapore, and then Singapore government is getting money from them because they spend
Right.
in Singapore as a tourist.
As a GST or VAT. Yeah.
GST.
That's a good analogy.
VAT. Why are the most populated cities in the real world the best freehold lands in Affyn Metaverse?
So I'm not saying they necessarily are, but to get to this answer, the populated areas means that they are more densely populated. It means there's more players. It means it's more interesting for geolocation-based gameplay because you will have more people playing there together.
Okay, so what I'm hearing now is we don't fully agree that the most populated cities are the best, but the community is the one that been saying that they think those are the ones they're more interested in.
There is definitely going to be interesting in having land in areas that are densely populated, because that's where we expect to have a lot of players. So there will be more activity, right? So that's the main logic to it. And like I said, the second logic to it is that these cities also have very popular and iconic location that if you're feeling attached to a specific location in the real world that you feel you want to own.
Like the Hanoi Cafe.
Yes, exactly. Leave that one to me, please.
How will it be possible to build a store in freehold lands? Will there be predetermined business to explore in the metaverse, or it can be built from scratch?
Right. So this touches more on the game design, and a lot of that is still work in progress. But the way we're looking at it right now is that the facilities that will be built on the land will be around in-game utility. And I gave the example of, for instance, a rest stop for buddies where you can recharge your buddies, or another type of facility where you can train them to level them up. So this is how we will start with building stores on those freehold lands, right? So these facilities, they can be used by you, as a matter of fact, right?
As well.
Right. So if you're a very active player, then you can have a rest stop on your own land and a training center on your own land. You don't have to pay anyone. And other players also will be paying you a fee for them. So that's how we're going to get started with stores in freehold lands. Then there's also going to be the ability to delegate the management of these facilities to other players. If running a facility is not your cup of tea and you would rather have someone else operate it,
so I can build it and then give it someone else to manage.
Right. And they'll take
a percentage.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, that is how we're going to get started. And as we go along, we'll see how we evolve that. And if we go into more free-form types of stores. We're not there yet. Do different lands provide different benefits to citizens? Well, Yes, in the sense that different biomes mean that different types of bodies will spawn there. So this is how you start to have some diversity across hometowns. But also the larger the hometown, which is related to the rarity of the land, I would say the prestige of being the citizen of a rarer land are going to be better than that of common land. Inactive citizens, can we make them leave as citizens and get new citizens? Yes, you can.
So I can kick
You can
somebody
kick
out.
people.
So
Absolutely.
let's say my arch enemy joined me as a citizen, not knowing that this piece of land actually belongs to me. I just don't like this person. Can I kick him?
You can kick him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not that I have any arch enemies.
The idea is that as a hometown owner, you'll be able to invite people to your hometown, and you will be able to also see who wants to become your citizen. So you can choose to accept or reject.
Also, I get the option to accept or reject.
Right.
So after they choose to, after I unknowingly accepted, can I kick the person?
Yes. You would typically do so if you feel that that your citizen is, for instance, not contributing.
Not giving me enough income.
For instance, but if you start to get active in the quest, in the activities, you start to get competitive. You want to have citizens who contribute, right?
That's true.
So if your citizens are just sitting idle, they're probably not the best contributors on your team. So yes, as a hometown owner, you will have the freedom to kick those citizens. But mind you, citizens will also have the choice to go and join other hometowns if, as a mayor, if they think that another hometown serves them better for reasons XYZ. Whether the biomes would change based on, was it on the seasons or on?
Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah.
In general, no. The biomes are fixed; they're not changing. There is already a lot of diversity inside each biome, right? Grassland will have many different types of grassland. Think about it like, I'm just going to give you some random examples. So just don't take my word literally for that. But grassland could be things like rainforest, like savanna, like highlands, like everything that has greenery on it.
Oh.
So it is not necessarily tied to the real world location. It is not because, for instance, we are here in on the equator, and
so there's not going to be snow.
It not necessarily mean that grassland will be tropical forest or that there will not be snow. We're not necessarily trying to map the vegetation of the real world with the vegetation of the NEXUS world. Because
NEXUS world itself is entire new world.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, why not snow in Singapore?
That would be fun.
Or maybe snow in Singapore. There was the one about, can we rename the city that we bought? Not immediately, but we are looking at how we're looking at this. Basically, we want homeowners to be able to personalize their city, and that starts by being able to give it a name.
So I can call it Tammy's Magical Land.
So we'll go in stages.
Okay.
But we will at the beginning there will not be any personalization of the hometown name, but we will introduce that in phases.
In phases.
We would just want to make sure that the city names are proper.
Okay.
So we'll we have already a plan in mind for doing that. So I can comfortably say that this is likely something that is going to happen, not right away when the first city cell launches, but it will come ultimately along the way. Yes.
Oh, I look forward to that, and I hope we can have some fun with that as well. Okay, before we end this watch party, is there anything you'd like to say to all our Affynians over here?
Well, I do want to say thank you for your continued enthusiasm. It's really exciting to see that energy coming from the community. And the one last thing is, indeed, keep an eye out for when the land art drops. You've seen one earlier. There's 9 billion more coming.
The biggest giveaway here I would like everybody to bring home today, or like remember tonight, is that we did mention there's so many functions, so many different aspects we need to think about when you choose your land. It doesn't mean that Metago is the most important one that you should aim for. It doesn't mean that when you have a smaller budget, common land doesn't make sense to you, because we did mention why a common land can actually be very good investment as well if you listen to us very carefully just now for one of the parts where we're answering. The reason why we're doing this, which Lucas has mentioned many times before, how we design not just NEXUS World, how we design Affyn, how we design all our sales since Gen Zero. We always have in our meetings the questions that we ask ourselves: how does it benefit the community? We always put the community as the core. So that's why everything that we designed is very much how that we can build this NEXUS World economy with you together. I think someone said, I really admire the brain behind it. It's brains, actually. The entire company come together to make this happen. And once again, if you understand how important you are to us, that's why we're also doing this watch party with you. I'd like you to bring this message not just with you home as well. If you can, tell your friends. I know a lot of you has been telling your friends and family already. And thank you so much for joining us for today's World Viewer Watch Party. I think it's a great success with a lot of you joining us over here with all the comments coming in. So many questions. Unfortunately, we can't answer all of them, but continue asking them in our Discord channel, our Telegram channel, and we will engage you from there.